with the connective tissue. So till now we have seen about the epithelial tissue, right? So what are the types and other things we've seen. Now we're going to start with the connective tissue. So first of all, what is a connective tissue is that? Connective tissue is a tissue which connects or which connects various entities, like different entities, okay? Connective tissue is found beneath your epithelial tissue. Okay, all your connective tissues except your blood will secrete some of the other protein like your fibrin, elastin, collagen, etc. So they will secrete some of the other protein except your blood. Okay, that protein secretion will form the matrix or a ground substance. Okay, for example, if collagen is there, it will be little hard. If collagen is tightly packed, it will be very hard. If collagen is loosely arranged, it will be kind of flexible. So based on the arrangements of those proteins which are produced by that connective tissue, you have all these divisions. So one is loosely packed connective tissue, next densely packed connective tissue, and the last one is your specialized connective tissue. As the name says, in loosely packed, the ground substance of the matrix is loosely arranged. It is not firm or it is not tight. In densely packed, it is kind of compactly arranged. Okay. And specialized, they are a little modified and they do some extra function. Okay, well, first let's see about the loosely packed connective tissue. So this can be divided into two types, that is areolar and adipose tissue. So areolar, as the name says, it is little spacious. Okay, areolar is, it will support, it is not very tightly packed. Okay, it facilitates aeration. So areolar is found beneath the skin and it supports the structural framework. Okay, the bones will provide the structural framework and this areolar will support the structural framework. And they contain lot of other cells like your fibroblasts, macrophages, mast cells, plasma cells, etc. So if you see macrophages, they are phagocytic in nature. They perform phagocytosis or cell eating. So that is why they are also called as histiocytes. These macrophages are also called as histiocytes. Next comes your mast cells. Mast cells are the cells which secrete your histamine, serotonin and heparin. Okay, heparin is an anticoagulant. Okay, serotonin and heparin, they are the secretions which are released in response to allergy. Okay, next, plasma cells. Plasma cells will give a cartwheel appearance under the microscope. Okay, they are also the cells which aid in the defense mechanisms. Okay, so these cells are all found in the areolar tissue. All these type of cells. See, if you see, mainly defense cells are present because as this is the first layer of defense, correct? So all the cells which will prevent the entry of microbes into the body are present in the areolar layer. Next comes your adipose tissue. Adipose, as the name says, it is fat. Adipose is fat. This is also found beneath the skin, that is beneath your areolar tissue. This will mainly store fats. The excess of fat which is formed in our body are stored in the adipose tissue. Okay. So apart from metabolism, whichever extra fat is there, that is all stored in the adipose tissue. Now, it also, under the eyes and surrounding the kidneys and all, this adipose, this forms a nice cushiony framework. So what happens? This acts as a shock absorber. So adipose tissue acts as a shock absorber. There are two types of fats. One is brown fat and the other one is yellow fat. Okay. Brown fat is multilocular. Okay. It is found in the organisms which are undergoing hibernation. Okay. And yellow fat is unilocular. So the one brown fat can produce 20 times more heat than that of yellow fat. Okay. So we all generally have, what we have is yellow fat. But brown fat is found in hibernating animals because they produce more heat and they're multilocular, whereas this is unilocular. Okay, so this is all about your areolar and adipose tissues. Okay, next is going to your dense type of connective tissue. Dense type of connective tissues can be of two types, regular and irregular. So what is the difference is that in regular dense type of regular tissue, the proteins are regularly or properly arranged. Okay, whereas in irregular, the proteins are randomly arranged. Each one will have different orientation like this. Whereas in regular, they are properly arranged in one particular orientation. Okay, so if you see this regular type, in this you have two examples. One is tendon and the other one is ligament. So what is a tendon? This is also made up of collagen fibers. Okay. So collagen is only present here. So I have two examples here. One is your ligament and the other one is your tendon. Ligament and tendon. So what is tendon? First of all is that tendon is a connection between your bone and a muscle. Okay. So a bone is attached to a muscle through the tendon. Okay. So this is between bone and muscle. Whereas ligament is between bone to bone. One bone is attached to other bone through ligament. One bone is attached to muscle through tendons. Okay. These two are coming under your dense regular tissues. Okay. Coming to your dense irregular, each one will have different orientation, so they're not properly arranged. Okay. The last part of your connective tissue is the specialized type of connective tissue. The best example is bone, cartilage, blood and lymph. Okay. So I think we've seen enough about blood and lymph, so I would like to talk about cartilage and bone here. Okay. So cartilage, if you see cartilage, cartilage is actually a flexible bone. Okay. So pliability is nothing but the flexibility. Okay. It is solid. Okay. And it is pliable. It is little flexible and it will resist compression. It will not break. You can twist it. You can press it. It can resist the compression. Okay. And the cells, you have some, the cells called as chondroblast will give rise to chondrocytes. The cartilage producing cells are nothing but the chondroblast. Chondroblast will give rise to chondrocytes. Chondrocytes are the cells. Okay. The growth of the cartilage, this is very important. The growth of the cartilage is unidirectional. Cartilage cannot grow on both the directions. It is only unidirectional. Okay. And then if you see, they have a very poor blood supply. They have very poor, cartilages will have very poor blood supply. Okay, so that is all about your cartilage. Now let's see about the types of cartilages which you know. Okay, so you have hyaline cartilage. Okay, see some cartilages are flexible and soft, some are very hard. Okay, so it will vary according to the place. So this will come in one words. Hyaline cartilage is found in trachea, bronchi, nasal septum, etc. Okay, nasal septum, the one which is differentiated, that is all nothing but your hyaline cartilage. Next is your white fibrous cartilage. So white fibrous is the strongest of all the cartilage. Okay, amongst all the four, white cartilage is the strongest cartilage. So it has got very thick collagen fibers. Okay, now they found in invertebrate discs. Okay, invertebrate discs, and also they found in the pubis region. Okay, so invertebrate discs is full of white fibrous cartilage. Next is yellow elastic. So this is more flexible. Yellow elastic is the most flexible type of cartilage. This is found in pinna, your external ear, eustachian tube, tips of your nose. All these are nothing but the yellow elastic cartilage. And last one is calcified. Calcified is, it is totally strong. It is very hard. It is not inelastic. Okay. Calcified means it is hardened. Okay. So calcium carbonate is found in the calcified cartilages. Okay. It is very hard and it is not flexible. It is not elastic. This type is mostly found in frogs and shark. Okay. So this is all about your cartilage. Types of cartilage and then the points, chondrocyte cells and other things. Okay. Now coming to the last part, that is nothing but a bone. Okay. So cartilage, cartilage is a flexible bone. Bone, it is a very hard. Okay. Cartilage is little flexible. That is the main difference. So if you see the bone, cartilages are pliable, whereas bones are non-pliable. Okay. Bones cannot resist compression. Okay. And they are rich in calcium ions and collagen fibers. Okay. Now here we called it as chondrocyte. Now here we will call it here as osteocyte. Okay. And the protein here is called as chondrin. I didn't mention it here. The protein here is called as chondrin. And the protein in bones is called as ossin. Okay. The protein in the bones is called as ossin. And the layer surrounding your cartilage is called as perichondrium. Okay, this is periosteum. The outermost layer here is perichondrium, this is periosteum. Okay. Now, ends of long bones. So mostly the ends of long bones, it is called as epiphysis. Okay. So, and then Haversian canals, this is actually a mammalian characteristics. Haversian canals are found only in mammals. It will be having an artery, a vein, and a lymph vessel. Okay. So bone will have an artery, a vein, and a lymphatic vessel. So that type of arrangement is called as Haversian canals. Okay. And as I told you, it is very rich in blood supply. One more thing I forgot to tell you is hyaline cartilage is also called as fetal cartilage because it is initially found in the long thigh bones of the fetus. So it's called as fetal cartilage also. Okay. Fine. That is all about the bone. Next is your blood. Blood, you know, there aren't any proteins released there. Okay. And if you see the origin of the blood, blood is mesodermal. And then blood has got many types of cells like your RBC, WBC, platelets, all these we've seen in human physiology, okay? And lymph also we've seen in human physiology. So that is all about your connective tissue. Loose, dense and specialized, the types, where are they found? So from this chapter, you'll get many questions. You know why? Because the scope of one words are more. See, trachea and bronchi we've seen elsewhere. We've seen in ciliated also, okay? So you have to know which is coming at where this type of cell is present. That kind of examples you have to learn here, okay? So now we're going to see we've seen about epithelial tissue, we've seen about connective tissue, correct? So now we're going to see about muscular tissue, and the last one will be your neural tissue. So muscular tissue, as the name states, it is mesodermal in origin, okay? So muscular tissue, if you see the origin, it is mesodermal, okay? So connective tissue is also mesodermal and muscular tissue is also mesodermal in origin. Okay. Now muscular tissue, you know the function of muscles. Muscles will actually enhance the flexibility and the bodily movements along with the bones. Okay. Muscles and bones both will coordinate. Bones are coming at a connective tissue. Okay. So muscles and bones both will coordinate and they will enable the movements of your body. Okay. And they also provide a rough structural framework to the body along with the bones. Okay. Muscles, if you see, there are two types of muscle cells broadly and one special type. Okay. One is your smooth muscle. The other one is your skeletal muscle. The last one is your cardiac muscle. Okay. So smooth muscles, if you see, they are striated. Striated in the sense under the microscope, they'll be appearing like this. You can see some striations or lines like this. Okay, this kind of striations is seen in your, This kind of striations is seen in your skeletal muscles, whereas smooth muscles, they are totally plain and they are fusiform. That is, tapered at the ends like this, okay? They are fusiform muscles, okay, like this. So whereas skeletal muscles, they are only striated, whereas smooth muscles are non-striated, okay? Okay, so till now we've seen about epithelial tissue and epithelial and connective tissue. Now we're going to see about the muscular tissue, okay? So muscular tissue is actually mesodermal in origin, okay? Because muscular tissue along with the bones will help in facilitating your body movements, okay, to and fro movements of the body. All the movements of the body are facilitated by muscular and bone movements, okay. Now, muscles, actually, you have a special type of hemoglobin present in your muscles called as myoglobin, okay. This myoglobin, because see, muscles need more energy for doing the process. So, a special type of hemoglobin which can provide more energy called myoglobin is present in muscles. Okay. Now there are three types of muscle fibers. One is smooth muscle fibers, skeletal muscle fibers and cardiac muscle fibers. Okay. In smooth muscles, you will not find any striations. It is non-striated. Okay. And the smooth muscles are tapered at both the ends. It will be in the, like this. It is tapered at both the ends, fusiform shape. Okay. And there are no striations at all. Skeletal muscles will have striations. It will have an alternating light and dark bands like this. So skeletal muscles will have striations. Cardiac muscles is also striated. Cardiac muscle is also striated. Okay. if you see the movement of the smooth muscle, okay, it is not under our control. It is totally involuntary. Involuntary in nature, okay, it is not under our control. Where striated muscles are voluntary in nature. But this cardiac muscle, this is striated and also involuntary. Okay, so this is a property of these three muscles. Smooth muscles, they're totally not under control because they found lining the smooth organs like your heart, okay, liver, pancreas, etc. The innermost lining is made up of smooth muscle. So you cannot control the movement of your internal visceral organs, correct? So the alimentary canal, okay. So you cannot control the movement. So it is not under our control. Whereas skeletal muscles, movement of hands and legs, okay, it is all totally under our control. So they will have the contractile proteins called as, skeletal muscles will have contractile proteins called as actin and myosin. So this actin and myosin both coordinate with each other and they will facilitate the movement of the skeletal muscle. The last one is your cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle is special because this has a characteristic of both skeletal and smooth muscle. So that is why we placed it in a different category. But the important thing in cardiac muscle is that they will have something called as intercalated discs. So this intercalated discs will connect, see if you see, this is connecting these two muscles. This is connecting these two muscles. So this, see, heart should be continuously functioning, correct? So the other muscles can take break, but heart muscle should not take break. They should be continuously functioning. So for the effective functioning, for the effective contraction and for effective transmission, the heart muscles are provided with a junctions called as intercalated discs. Intercalated discs. So this intercalated discs will enable the better movement, better transmission of impulse. Okay, so that is all about your types of muscles. Okay, and one more important thing is too much working out of the muscles will lead to the accumulation of lactic acid. So muscle fatigue, okay, and at last it might even lead to the death of the muscle in that area, okay. And the cells of the muscular cells of your heart is called as cardiomyocyte. Cardiomyocyte, okay. So the specialized cells of your heart is called as cardiomyocyte, okay. So this is all about your muscular cells, okay. Next, last is that we're going to see about the neural cells or neural tissue, okay, fine. So neurons are the cells, okay, neurons are the longest cells of our body. Neurons are the longest cells of the body and neurons will not divide after birth. Neurons will not divide after the birth. So because of this, why they do not divide is that they lack centrosome. So because of the absence of centrosome, they will not divide after the birth. Okay. So what happens? Regeneration capacity is very poor. Regeneration capacity is very poor in neurons. So once neurons are damaged, you cannot expect the neurons to grow back. Okay. So neurons are the longest cells and they have these functions. Okay. They have very, very, very poor capacity of regeneration. Okay. Now 90% of the neuronal tissue is constituted by neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells, okay, are the cells which will nourish or which will take care or nurse the neurons. Okay, so neuroglial cells are, neuronal tissue is maximum made up of neuroglial cells. Neuroglial cells are the cells which will take care of the neurons. Okay, so they provide the access, they support the neuronal cells. Okay, now unlike neurons, neuroglial cells, they will divide. Neuroglial cells can divide, but neurons cannot divide. Okay. Now, you know the types of neurons according to the structure, unipolar, bipolar, and multipolar neurons are present. Okay. So this is your cell body or cyton. So this is your axon ending up in a synaptic knob. Okay, so they will end up in a synaptic knob. This axon is covered by a sheath called as myelin sheath, and you can find gaps in between called as nodes of Ranvier. Okay, and this, see, all these we've discussed in human physiology. I'm just brushing up. Okay, so the cells which are producing your myelin sheath is called as Schwann cells. The cells which are producing myelin sheath is called as Schwann cells. If there is only one cyton and one axon, that is one cyton plus one axon, it is unipolar. One cyton, one axon, one dendron. Okay, then it is bipolar. One cyton, one axon, and many dendrons. It is multipolar. So this is multipolar. One cyton, one axon, many dendrons. Okay, so unipolar is one cyton and one axon, like this it will be. Bipolar, one cyton, one axon, and one dendron, it will be like this. Multipolar is this. Unipolar is seen in fetus, embryo. Bipolar is seen in your retina of the eye, and multipolar is seen in normal, almost all your neuronal cells. Okay, now what happens is that the impulse will travel from one node to other node like this. Okay, this type of conduction, rather than passing it like this, it will travel from one node to other node. So this type of conduction is called as saltatory conduction. Why? Because this will increase the speed of conduction. Okay, rather than going along the axon, if it is jumping from one node to other node, then the conduction rate is faster. It will increase the velocity of the conduction. So that type is called as saltatory conduction. Okay, and then the last but not the least, we are going to see about types of neuroglial cells, which is, one is astrocyte, oligodendrocyte, and the last one is your microglia. So you have three types of your glial cells or neuroglial cells. One is astrocyte, the other one is, I'm just writing the percentages. Astrocyte will be star shaped. Okay, oligodendrocyte, they will help in formation of myelin sheath in CNS, and microglia, these cells are phagocytic in nature. Okay, so I repeat, astrocytes are actually they are required for support and protection. Okay, astrocyte, the main function is protection. Oligodendrocyte, they help in the formation of your myelin sheath in the central nervous system, and microglial cells are phagocytic in nature. Okay, so this is all about your neuronal tissue.